Hey guys, Crewman here, and I've been doing over the years quite a few videos on how to install graphics cards. Basically, I take every graphics card that's released in the last two generations and I try to make an install guide on them. When I do those videos, I get a lot of other questions on GPUs and how to power them and all sorts of things, issues that come with those because people are afraid of the new cables and GPUs are more expensive than ever. So people are very incredibly scared of installing their graphics card wrong, mixing it with the wrong power supply, or basically blowing something up. So, first of all, I want to shout out Be Quiet and give them a massive thank you. I asked them for a bunch of power supplies so I could do exclusive content on different aspects of how to install a power supply on your computer, how to figure out what plug to use for your graphics card, all of those. And I asked them to send me 4 different power supplies of various ranges and Be Quiet delivered. They sent me over a straight power 12, a dark power 13, a pure power 13M, and a power zone 2. There will be links in the description down below where to pick up any of these power supplies. And I want to be frank, Be Quiet makes some of the best power supplies in the industry, so that's really the big reason why I'm showcasing Be Quiet power supplies, because they are basically my favorite power supply brand, bar none. The point of this video is I get so many questions on whether or not you should use the cables that come with GPUs. Here we have an RTX 5070 Founders Edition, and it comes with the latest 12 volt high power cable to 2 8-pin. And here you can see I have one from last generation. This one is a 12 volt high power to 3 8-pin. And in this video I'm going to answer the question, should you use these or should you use the ones that come with the power supply? So in today's video I am going to answer that question. Okay, so we're going to be concise and to the point. Here we've got the Pure Power 13M. It's a 750 watt power supply. It would be more than enough to go with the RTX 5070. So for this example, we are using a 5070 because it's what I have right in front of me. But honestly, this will apply to everything from a 4070 Ti all the way up to a 5090. People, like I said, I get this all the time. Should I use the adapter or should I use the cable? Well, when you're using a high quality power supply like Be Quiet, we've got the Pure Power 13M right here, and this is the cable that comes with it. And then we've got the Power Zone 2, and this is the cable that comes with it. All right. So the thing I love about Be Quiet is they make incredibly high quality power supplies and cables. Look at the cable from the Power Zone 2, and if you notice, it has the 90-degree adapter right there, so that it makes it a lot easier to install on your graphics card. And then when you go to a lower model like the Pure Power 13, it still has a high quality cable. And one thing I want you to look at in both cables is you can see that, I know it's sometimes hard to zone in on both of them, but that they have no issues. The cables are well made and there's no connector issues. Now, when given the opportunity to use either these adapters, if I'm using a well-respected brand like Be Quiet, or these ones, whether it be last gen or current gen, I will always choose to use these cables. Okay? Now, I have test benches that I test 40 series and 50 series on quite a bit, and I don't use any of these adapters. Frankly, for all the 40 series and 50 series GPUs I own, these adapters, literally, these are the only two that I have out right now. And that's just in case I need them. But I always, when in doubt, I always use the cables. Now look, it's always better to have less wires, right? So when you have this adapter, you're basically, these are going into the PCIe slots and then this is going into the GPU. Whereas when you have a high quality cable like the one that comes on the Power Zone 2, this goes right into the GPU, this goes into the power supply, and you skip basically a whole cable. You want fewer connections. Fewer is better. Now, if you're using like a brand that you've never heard of or a brand that is low on the tier list, then that is when I would consider maybe using these. But frankly, if you're going to spend over $500 for a GPU, which is the centerpiece of your build, you're going to want a high-end power supply. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Be Quiet is the only brand that makes good power supplies, but they are my personal favorite, and they are a sponsor of the channel. But they wouldn't be a sponsor of the channel if they didn't make amazing products. I'm not here to shill crappy products. And this isn't necessarily an ad for Be Quiet. More so what I'm trying to say is when you are using high quality power supplies, you want to use the cables that they come with instead of the adapters. It's just better to do it that way, in my opinion. Now look, I am just a guy who points a camera at products and content and talks about it. So I am no means an expert, but I have worked with hundreds of GPUs and probably over 30, 40 series GPUs and probably 6 or 7 50 series. And I've plugged these cables, not these specific ones, but cables like this from my testing area into, hundreds of GPUs. So I feel like that qualifies me for what I'm talking about. So when in doubt, always use the adapter that comes with the PSU instead of what comes with the GPU. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below and let me know what you think. Thank you again to Be Quiet for sending me over these power supplies and sponsoring this video. You'll see these power supplies and a lot more PSA videos. Like I said, guys, I make these videos to help you. I don't benefit from them. I'm just trying to give you my opinion and to make sure that you don't take your brand new GPU and fry it. So when in doubt, use the cables from the power supplies because less connections is always better in the long run. All right, that's it for this one. Peace out.